Imagine your personality like a ball of light, like a little ball of energy. If that ball of light is spread out too far, the concentration of the light, the power of the light is not as intense, it gets thinner. The strength of the light is the same with your personality. If you try and expand too much, too far, you spread out the light too far, you spread out your personality too far, it's going to be too thin. You're going to spread it too thin. It's going to have no effect, or it's going to have very little effect. So you need to contract. You need to bring the light back to center. You need to bring it back to center. And that's what our being is. That's what our personality is. It's like a ball of light. You can view it like that, like a ball of light pulsing. And there's a rhythm to it. Okay, so there's the contraction side, the contraction, where you go to shelter, rest, relax, repose, recover, self-care. And then there's the expansion side, where you go out and you go hard and you hustle and you push and you meet new people and you expand, you spread out your energy. And the thing is, some people want to expand all the time without contracting, and the only thing that they end up achieving is burning themselves out. And some people just don't realize that they need to contract, and they burn themselves out to the point of no return, sadly. They use all kinds of substances to prop themselves up, when all you need to do is contract. And that's it. You expand and you gather a wealth of information and a wealth of experiences, and then you contract. You come back home and you rest and recover and let them experiences settle in your mind, and the growth and the knowledge, everything settle in your mind. And when you rest and recover, you go back out with the new energy, with the rested energy, and the added benefit of the new knowledge that you've acquired, and you go and expand and gain more knowledge and more reference experiences. And then before your energy gets too thin again, you go back home and you contract again. And that's how it is. That's the rhythm. Expansion, contraction. You need to find your balance, what works for you. Everybody's got different levels of energy. Everybody feeds off different types of self-care. Some people enjoy one thing, some people enjoy other things, okay? Obviously. And this brings me to a principle of gender from the book The Kabbalion. And I'm not talking about male and female in the biological sense. I'm talking more about the mental sense. The masculine is more forcing, is more penetrating, willpower, pushing through. That's more considered masculine energy, the injection of energy. And then the feminine is more relaxing and going with the flow, bringing out your creative side and just kind of letting things pop up into your mind. And the thing is, you have to have a balance of the two. It's yin and yang. You can't be fully masculine all the time, because you're going to lose it. We all have masculine and feminine energy inside of ourselves, but don't get this mistaken with the biological sense. I'm talking more about mental starting points. You've got the masculine mental base, which is where you just force things, make things happen, work hard and force it. And then you've got the feminine mental starting point, which is just relax and go with the flow and take your time, take it easy, just enjoy the moment and let the creativity pop up in your mind. You've got to have the balance of the two, the yin and yang. Everybody has a different yin and yang ratio, but if you don't even know where to start, then it will be good to copy other people's until you start to learn what works for you and what doesn't. But yeah, contraction and expansion, that is very important to know, and to not beat yourself up when you're going through a contraction period, because people tend to be scared of contracting, thinking that they're going to lose the momentum that they've gained. No, it's part of the momentum. It's part of the momentum, mate. Just don't spend too long contracting, but it's very important, and spend as long as you need, really. But there just comes a time where more time contracting is not efficient. You don't need more time contracting. Same as expanding. You come to a point where you don't need more expansion. You've already had the period of expansion of that pulsation. What you need now is contraction, or vice versa. people beat themselves up because they feel like they have to contract. They don't realize that that's natural part of the process. They think that there's something wrong with them or something. That's why you end up getting colds and stuff like that, because your body's telling you, like, relax. The universe, nature, it's got your back. It knows. I mean, if you just go with the flow, with the nature's natural rhythm, you're gonna do much better than how you think you're gonna do. You think you're cleverer than nature or something like that. You've got the answers. You know, you can push through the natural process. No. Go with the flow. People kind of feel guilty that they have to now contract. You know, the culture nowadays is just go, hustle, work, and then medicate yourself by, because you're so stressed out at night, the only thing that's going to get you to fall asleep is smoking a joint or cigarettes, and, you know, to calm the nerves, and then prop yourself up with caffeine and cocaine and all the other stimulants that you can think of, and that's how you're going to balance yourself out. But that just leads you down the wrong path. Eventually you've got to find the natural way of expanding and contracting. And the bad thing, the downside to the whole propping yourself up artificially all the time is eventually you're going to wear yourself out to be so thin and burned out that you're so weak that you're going to end up damaging yourself permanently. And that's what happens to a lot of people. So you've got to be conscious that it's a natural part of the process, and depending on what part of the period that you're in, you know, you could be in a period of expansion in that moment, and the expansion could last, you know, 3 or 4 days or a week or 2 weeks even, or even a month. The thing is, you want to realize that if you've been going for a long time expanding and just going hard and you know, in expansion, you want to make time for contraction. A good proportion, I'd say, is something like 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. So 3 parts expansion, 1 part contraction. If you go too much, like 10 parts expansion, 1 part contraction, your expansion is not going to be very effective. So I think ideally, yeah, between 2 and 5 parts expansion and 1 part contraction. And just by parts, I mean days. But yeah, and avoid all the external boosters that you can get. Coffee, I don't find coffee as to be that bad. I drink coffee every day. I also drink green tea. Green tea is it's got something in it. I can't remember exactly what it is. It might be theanine or something like that. It's something that counterbalances the caffeine. It kind of calms you a bit. I've noticed that, actually, because I've been drinking a lot of coffee and I've ended up being a little bit agitated from so much caffeine intake, and I started drinking a little bit of green tea because I've done that for a while now, but I hadn't done it for a little bit, and I started doing it again a couple of days ago, and I really noticed how it calms my nerves. Just a glass of green tea, you know, it's amazing. But yeah, contraction, you know, get into nature, relax, take it easy, slow down a bit, do breathing work. Fill your lungs and your body up with oxygen and feel the moment. Just enjoy. It's not all about go. If you're always going, eventually your goal is not going to be very efficient, okay? It's going to end up wearing too thin, and then you'll end up destroying yourself. So don't feel guilty if you're in a period of contraction, or if you feel like you should go into a period of contraction. Just realize it's part of the natural balance. But it's important to get this down, the balance, you know, to then effectively grow in the right direction, and that's the best way to do it. That's the fastest way as well. You think the fastest way is to just get things done without rest? No. The fastest way is to do a bit and then rest, and then do a bit and then rest, and that's how you do it. Stay consistent with it, and eventually you build yourself up to the highest heights. The sky's the limit.